There is always another way you can go about fixing the reading order of the table. And in this case, since my idea was to redesign the table, you might wonder what would you do if you didn't have the actual content from the original source. So what you can do is you can backtrack. You can go up here to File, and you can export to Microsoft Word. And so I'm going to do that. And I'm going to call this reading order 2. And here's the document. Now, I've already started to work on this so I would get a jump start. So the first thing I did was to select the table. I did Control A, and then I did Control X, and I cut the table. Then I put a few paragraph marks in, and then I pasted back in the content, and I went to the next step, which is to take all this content here at the top, which shouldn't be in the table, and put the content here in these paragraphs. So let me show you what that looks like. The other thing that I did besides moving the content that was in the top of that table and making it into paragraphs was to actually make them into headers. And you'll see that the College of Business is now heading 1 and the Bachelor's is heading 2. And I could have made accounting heading 3, so I'll do that right now. I'll show you how I did that. Here's the format, and I come up here and I see heading 3, and I right click on it and update the heading. So now I have heading 1, 2, and 3, and then these are just regular paragraphs. But the next step is to start building a template for each year. If I build a template, then I can do it multiple times. So I basically want to have 4 tables here, and with a divider of a paragraph, and this will be a heading level 3, the senior summary. So I'm going to start showing you how to do that. The simplest way to do that is to insert a table. And the way you can do that is to use the standard insert table. And let's look at what we have here. Do we want to draw the table? And I think that might be a good idea. So let's look at drawing the table. So the first column is going to be this long, and that's going to be the freshman year. And then the second column is going to be divided. So let's do that. Second column. And let's divide it into the fall semester, then units, the spring semester, in units. And then we can add one more line here to put in the data, and that too will have to be divided like this. And so once we get the structure started, we can then click anywhere on these paragraph marks and get our insert pointer. And also the first line here has a box around it. We probably don't want that. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to go to Table Tools, and I'm going to remove the border by going to No Border. So let's type freshman year in here. Actually, I can just cut it from here and then center that, which is Control E. And then I can take fall semester and put it here. And then I'm going to add credit hours. Might have to change the size of the font for that to fit. And then we would want the spring semester. And again, we want credit hours. So I'm going to copy that over here. I still have some more borders that I'm going to have to resolve. The borders on this particular content should be nothing, and it seems like I still have a border here, and I have to do that until I get rid of all the borders because it doesn't have any borders down here. Alright, now as I said, probably would want to make this a smaller font. You can come up here to Home and reduce it, maybe 8 point. That looks pretty good. And then do 8 point over here. So then we have how many cells that have to have the content in it. So let's count. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we have a 7th. So what we're going to do is we're just going to press Tab key until we have 7 rows. Okay, so there's 7, and now I don't want to bore you with showing you how to cut and paste all this content down here. I'll just show you that when I'm finished with it. So here's the first table that I built, the freshman year one, where it has fall semester, spring semester. And so basically copy this table and paste it into the next paragraph mark here. And of course change this to reflect the changes that are down here for sophomore year, junior year, and so forth. Now I'm going to go ahead and make these changes, but before I do, I just want to mention a couple of the issues that I had that were kind of difficult to work with. First of all, I had this column here and I had to get it to line up. I also had to add a border on this cell. And so if I go to Table Tools, you'll see that you can go up here to Borders, and then you can choose the bottom border like I did. And of course there's a little difference between the fall and spring semester, but I also added the credit hours as a heading in the table, and I also added a total so that someone who's using a screen reader might be able to know what 15 actually represents, even though they might intuitively know what that means. And so I am going to come back to the video in a minute or so after I get the rest of the specific tables for each year done. So here we are back at the table with all the rest of the tables added. So you see I have the text here, the first table for freshman year, then a paragraph mark, then sophomore year, then a paragraph mark for junior year, and then the senior summary, which I said I would make into a level 3 heading. And actually I want that on the left, so I'm going to put that back. Then I have the rest of the content after senior year as paragraphs, so that I can structure the reading order more readily in PDFs, which is what we're going to do now. So my PDF file has opened, and I still will have the same reading issues where it will read through fall semester into spring semester, and so we're going to have to rectify that. The first thing I'm going to show you here in the tags panel is that there are individual tables now that we built in the previous video. And then of course the top information is in a paragraph, and I have my headings marked up as I said. Alright, so let's go ahead and bring up our reading order panel, and here it is. Now this first table, we want to have it read not 9, 10 here. Let me enlarge this a little bit so you can see it a little better. Okay, so here we are, we're at this freshman year, so we want it to read freshman year, then we want it to read down the fall semester, but we want it to read like this: fall semester, credit hours, and then English 1100, and then the number of credits over here, and then read through that whole thing until we get over here to spring. So this is all going to have to be reordered. Now once I have the panel up, I can move it out of the way so we can better see what we're doing. So let's go over here and find number 9, fall semester. Here it is, and then it says credit hours, and then it says spring semester. So what we want to do for each of these tables, and it will be easier to do now that we can actually see what we're doing. So I want to bring up after credit hours. I want it to read 1100. And then I'm going to click on 3, the first 3 here, and bring that up after 1100. So let's get that to drop in here. There it goes. You see, this is very tedious when there's a lot of content. As a matter of fact, Adobe Acrobat Pro almost crashed there. So let's go to our next item. We're still wanting to put them above spring semester. So that would be Math 1066. Okay, after it reads that, it needs to read number 14. But it's actually numbered 18 right now. So I need to move this 3 up here above spring semester after Math 1066. So when you have a table, you're going to see that building the structure in the proper reading order is a lot of work. There's not much more you can do about that other than redesigning your Word file from the get-go. After you have finished marking up the reading order, you may sometimes find that there are still errors. I don't understand why they happen myself. And so we have the beginning here where it starts with catalog, and then it should come down here to course availability and read freshman year. So the only way that I can show you how that's going to work is to come up here to view and then go to the read out loud, activate read out loud, start that up, and then you have to give it the initiation to start reading the content. So we're going to go to read out loud, read this page only. So here we go.
Catalog, 2015 to 2016. College of Business. Bachelor of Science in Business Administration. Accounting. Please note that this is a recommended sequence. Check catalog for prerequisites. Course availability may vary from semester to semester. English 1100. 3. Math 1066. 3.
So it jumped from 7 to 11, and it skipped 9, 10, and 8 for some reason. I don't have any answers for you about that. That's the way this Acrobat Pro read it, and maybe I should stop right now and let you hear this being read by JAWS.
Pause ... unavailable.
Alright, so I have now started up JAWS, and it's going to go through and read this table. So I'm going to press Control down arrow, and it should read this table to us.
Catalog : 2015-2016. Heading Level 1 College of Business. Heading Level 2 Bachelor of Science in Business Administration. Heading Level 3 Accounting. Please note that this is a recommended sequence. Check catalog for prerequisite. Course availability may vary from semester to semester. ENGL 1100. 3. Math 1066. 3. MIS 2223. 3. SIG 1000 or SOCI 2110. 3. HLTH 1000. 2. Elective left parent 1. Total 15. Blank. Table with 4 columns and 8 rows. Freshman year. Fall semester. Credit hours.
So just as the tool that is built into Adobe Acrobat Pro failed to read the content accurately, so does JAWS. For some reason, correcting the reading order didn't work for us. We got from course availability, and then it jumped down to English 1100 and skipped the freshman year, fall semester, and credit hours. Unfortunately, the repair to this is very painful. What you have to do is you have to go over to the tags panel and actually go through all the paragraphs and find out why they're not in the right order. And so let's try to find this paragraph here, course availability. It should be about right there. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open that up so we can find it. And then what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to drop the freshman year, fall semester, and credit hours in order to follow this in the tags panel. So I'm going to have to come down below, and I believe that it got stuck in this table. In the first row should be the paragraph freshman year. Now, to be able to decipher what it is, I'm going to have to open it up so I can actually read it. Now I'm going to take that paragraph and I'm going to drag it up and drop it right after course availability. All right, now I'm going to have to go to the next row and open that up, and I should get fall semester. I take this paragraph, I'm going to open it up all the way so we can see fall semester, and I'm going to drag that up and follow freshman year. Actually, that didn't work properly. Let's do that again. It actually put it inside the hierarchy of that paragraph. I want it here. There we go. So now it will say course availability freshman year in fall semester. Of course, there's one more to go, which is the credit hours. So let's go back down here, go to the next row. Oh, I went too far. Here we are, credit hours. So I'm going to open this paragraph so I can read credit hours. I'm going to drag that up. And this is a tricky process. You have to make sure that you don't drop it inside the hierarchy. You need to put it right after the paragraph mark like this, rather than fall semester. You want to put it right there. Okay, so now it should read properly. And I'm going to have to go and fix that for the spring semester as well. So finally, we open up the file again and try reading it after we made all those repairs. So let's look at how it reads that table. I'm going to come to view. I'm going to turn back on read out loud and read this page only.
Catalog, 2015 to 2016. College of Business. Bachelor of Science in Business Administration. Accounting. Please note that this is a recommended sequence. Check catalog for prerequisites. Course availability may vary from semester to semester. Freshman year. Fall semester. Credit hours. English 1100. 3. Math 1006.
And as you can see, by moving the content in the tags area, we were able to get the reading order to work like we wanted it to. It seems like a whole lot of work to build reading order into a table. That's why if you build a table and it reads from left to right, top to bottom, that the normal reading order will work. But when you build a table that has a column that reads down, well, in this case it reads 2 columns and then goes down, and then reads 2 columns and goes down. It's a lot harder to fix it, but now that you know how to do it, you're a master of it. This was a tough lesson, and I thank you for watching Points of Access.